If you've just decluttered your wardrobe for the first time, or maybe you've been at it a few times and you're hoping this one will finally stick, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you might be about to self-sabotage. Today, I'm going to share exactly why this might happen and how to prevent it. I've been in your shoes on numerous occasions, and one of the biggest challenges I used to face each time I would minimize what was in my closet was the urge to go on a shopping spree. Whether it was a couple of weeks or a few months after I pared down to what I believed was essential for me in my wardrobe, the temptation would always appear. And while I wasn't always great at suppressing that temptation in the beginning, I'm definitely confident in my ability to do so now, thanks to the things that I'm about to share. So if you're looking for practical ways to make your wardrobe declutter stick and to prevent the allure of replacing everything you've just gotten rid of, keep watching. Decluttering your wardrobe is only half the battle, and I think that the real hard work comes when you have to maintain that reduced state once you've actually gotten rid of the items. And while many of us might feel that urge to shop sometimes, I think that the reason why behind these urges can vary from person to person. I used to address this issue with the mindset of I'll deal with it when it happens, but honestly, it never led to anything good. In fact, it often led to shopping hauls and buying a whole bunch of stuff that I didn't actually need. These are some of the things that have contributed to my own self-sabotage and reversing all of my decluttering progress, and they could be true for you too. Contributor number one was old shopping habits that hadn't been fully reformed because it's a process that takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and some of these shopping habits could be impulsively buying from seeing online ads, browsing websites when there were sales going on, even though, we don't actually need anything, or even just walking into stores without a need or a plan and then lacking self-control. Another contributor for me was comparison. So just trying to keep up with the Joneses all the time. Social media and marketing is so powerful now, especially with influencers doing their jobs so well. And even though this has always been a reality, just, trying to keep up with the Joneses, I definitely think that it's been exacerbated by the fast pace of technology and the constant highlight reels that we're seeing, making us feel like we need more or that we don't have enough. Another thing that would make curbing the temptation I would feel a little bit more difficult was a lack of intention. You've probably heard of the saying, a goal without a plan is just a wish, and I think that's really true in this scenario. Not planning for the aftermath of my declutters set me up for failure almost every single time, and I do think that without guidelines or tools in place to help yourself out, there's going to be less resistance when that temptation arises. And lastly, uncertainty about my personal style made it difficult for me to resist that temptation I would feel to go shopping after a declutter. Finding one's personal style is a process, and honestly, in the past, I would use that as an excuse to buy a whole bunch of new things that I didn't actually need. There's nothing wrong with experimenting, but I don't think that it has to be done in the form of a shopping haul or various shopping hauls over time, so stick around to the end of this video for an alternative. Now that you have an idea of why you might be having trouble sustaining your decluttered wardrobe, here are a few practical tips that you can use to set yourself up for success. When it comes to old shopping habits, ongoing reflection has always been really helpful for me. So if you want to keep yourself accountable and just aware of the thought processes and feelings that are associated with your shopping habits, a shopping journal might work for you. I would start out by listing your shopping habits, so listing down your triggers and your tendencies. Maybe you tend to shop when you're sad, or maybe you shop every time you have extra income. Perhaps sales are a trigger for you, and it could even be specific stores that always make you feel like spending money. Try not to be passive when you are feeling a certain type of way and you're feeling triggered to shop, and instead write down a little note in your journal. For me, awareness has always been the first step in addressing my bad shopping habits and just bad habits in general. And honestly, you might surprise yourself and realize that by just simply taking those thoughts and feelings out of your head and putting them onto paper or digital paper, you actually end up reacting in different ways to those triggers. Something else that could help you is keeping a question list for every time you want to buy something new. This is something that has personally worked really well for me, and over time, as I continued to refer to that list when I was shopping, it became mental. So I no longer need to look at those prompts because I remember them in my head, and I'm sure that it could work for you as well. So some questions that you might want to add to this list are, do I need this item or do I just want it? Do I have something similar already? What triggered my desire for this item? And do I need this right now or could it wait a few weeks? In regards to comparison or trying to keep up with the Joneses, I have always found that keeping a gratitude journal helps me out just by reminding me of all the greatness that is in my own life and just keeping me satisfied with my life as it is. Something else you might want to try is a detox from social media. I've personally quit Instagram and TikTok. I have been off for about 5 months now, and it has been life-changing in terms of, switching up my shopping and spending habits. But if you're not totally convinced of, leaving those platforms in whole, you could try doing a detox for an amount of time where you're trying to just reform those shopping habits that you have. I would also suggest that you try staying off of social media and just online in general when it is sale season or just heavy shopping seasons like Christmas, Boxing Day, and all of those big events. To deal with a lack of intention when it comes to curbing those temptations that arise after you declutter your wardrobe, you could try making a wish list. This is a repetitive piece of advice, but I do think that it's very valid and it does actually work in just delaying that gratification that we feel when we buy something new. Another thing you could try is the one in, one out method. So basically, if you buy a new item of clothing, you're gonna get rid of an item as well, and that just prevents you from creating more clutter in your wardrobe. This could be very handy in the beginning if you are still not quite where you want to be in terms of sizing down your wardrobe. You could also try cataloging your entire wardrobe. I know this is a bit of an extreme action to take, but I have seen it work for a lot of different people. I'm considering doing it myself. I just need to find the time of day to do it. With a child, it's a little bit difficult, but it is definitely something that can help you recognize what you really like in your wardrobe and why you like it so much. And it can also help you create new outfits too. There are so many different ways that you could catalog. You could use a spreadsheet like I'm showing right now. You could take photos in your clothing and keep it in an album on your phone. But essentially, the goal here is to just be aware of what you already have. And if you are out shopping or you're feeling the urge to buy something, you can refer back to that catalog to see if you have something similar or even the same. Now, to address the potential uncertainty that you feel about your own personal style, I think the number one thing here to do is to accept that it is a process that takes time. I also think there might be hints in your existing wardrobe that can help you out. This is where that catalog that I mentioned could come in handy in just telling you why you like to wear certain things and also helping you recognize what you don't prefer to wear as well. Rather than occasional shopping hauls, I do believe that it is a better way to shop by slowly and intentionally incorporating new pieces into your wardrobe after you've done a little bit of research on your body type, ideal color palette for your skin tone, and the most suitable styles for you. Once you have that information, it'll really help you out when you're actually shopping because it will narrow down your options and help you just resist the temptation you might feel to buy anything that looks good. I hope that by hearing how I have dealt with this challenge, you feel encouraged to set yourself up for success as well because you deserve it, especially after going through the effort of decluttering your wardrobe. And if you felt intrigued by me mentioning that I have left Instagram and TikTok, I've shared all of the reasons why I made that decision in this video up here if you want to watch. If you made it this far, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.